During the past 5 months, over 90,000 bowlers from around the world have journeyed to Reno to compete in bowling's most prestigious event, the 92nd Annual American Bowling Congress Championships Tournament in the new National Bowling Stadium. This week, it was the senior pros' turn, as the third annual ABC PBA Senior Masters took over the 78 tournament lanes. Today, ESPN presents the stepladder finals of the $230,000 ABC PBA Senior Masters. We're in Reno, Nevada, the biggest little city in the world, in the beautiful, magnificent National Bowling Stadium. Welcome, everyone, to the beautiful new $40 million National Bowling Stadium. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Durbin. Working with me once again is ABC and PBA Hall of Famer Earl Anthony. Earl, a great cast for today's telecast.
It is. It's one of the more talented fields we're ever going to see. We've got a couple of Hall of Famers in here, and they're all looking for that chance to win $38,000, be the Senior Masters champion. But they've got to get through one of the best players on the senior tour ever in John Handegard.
And in our opening match, we've got Ron Swift taking on Toney from West Virginia. The winner of that match moves on to face Hall of Famer Dave Davis. The survivor there takes on Couture, and the one who survives all of those matches will take on our tournament leader, John Handegard. Well, we're ready to start our opening match. Ron Swift will be throwing his first shot on television. Got to be a little bit nervous, Earl.
Well, I would think so, but talking to him earlier, he seemed like he was pretty relaxed and ready to go.
Well, he gets a break and breaks up that split.
Yeah, 3-6-10 here. Really kind of a nervous shot there, you might say, Mike. You're right. He does seem a little bit nervous. And getting used to the television first time out there, maybe 2 or 3 frames. Hopefully it won't be too late in the match before he does get relaxed.
Not the easiest spare to make on your first try either.
No, it sure isn't. He's going to go cross lane at this. Use a lot of the lane. Try to get it between the 3 and the 6. Good start. At least he got the spare to get out of the gate. Now here's a player with a little more experience. Toney's been a little bit longer than Ron has, so we'll see if Adam can get started properly. On that second arrow, Adam was a pretty hard, pretty straight.
He's got a pretty successful tire business in West Virginia too, right?
Adam's been a success in just about everything he's ever tried.
He's a 6-pin first shot out of the gate.
18 years in the state legislature. He's got that tire business you talked about. Now he's even in the bowling business. He has a bowling center down there in West Virginia. And his very best friend, the guy he calls his big brother, Tommy Tuttle. Tommy got him started in the bowling business.
Tommy just got inducted into the ABC Hall of Fame, too.
Yes, that's what he's really proud. He's very, very happy about it. He should be. He deserves it. Spin shouldn't be any problem for Adam, and it's not. This opening match, just really probably the toughest match of the day for any of the players is the first match, because the lanes are just been freshly oiled. They bowled on it for maybe 10 minutes. They're going through a little bit of a transition. They're trying to figure out where to play, how to play, and they're a little bit nervous.
But the ABC wanted to do those lanes there, and they clean up in hopes that the scores would be better, right?
That was the plan. Remember, during the Masters itself, for the young guys, the might say, the scores were very, very low. Because the hand condition changed so drastically, the players couldn't make the adjustment.
Well, Toney made the adjustment there. Swift in around the third arrow.
That looks a little bit more relaxed.
A seasoned veteran right there, huh?
Yeah, and talking with him beforehand and his wife Kathy, who just flew in, got here about an hour before we went on the air. This is his first time, as you mentioned, on television, and he is really excited about this, and she's thrilled. She's hoping that he'll do extremely well. Obviously, he's only been bowling about 17 years, so he got a very late start. Started when he was 38 years old.
Can you imagine that?
That's really hard to imagine. And the reason he started bowling, while you watch him go here try to get this double and take an early lead in the match.
Ooh, the 10 pin.
Left the 10. Made a little adjustment off his opening shot there. And there's his wife, Kathy, with a K, she says. But the reason he started bowling was because he was working 80+ hours a week. And his doctor, he started getting ill, and he got meningitis and things like this. And his doctor said, you've got to get away from here and get out and do something that relaxes you and quit working. You're going to kill yourself. So he says, well, I'll go start bowling or something. So he started bowling, and here he is.
So you're telling me he's a workaholic?
He's a workaholic.
Cross lane at the 10 pin.
He says the best thing is his wife's still working, so he can bowl.
Smart man.
He's got this figured out pretty good. All right. Here's Adam with a chance on lane 26 here. We're bowling on lanes 25 and 26 at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno. Chance to get a double, an early lead.
Kind of rocks back and forth. Creeps up there. And a nice shot. Carried nice.
Got the job done. Adam is quite an athlete, and he used to be a football player in his younger days, and he really injured his knee very badly. Had to have surgery on it. Here's another look at that shot, and you see the end over end roll and a little bit of back end there, just enough. Adam throws it very hard, very straight. And you can see his position at the foul line on both feet, basically. And Adam, because of his bad knee, an old football injury, which he had an operation on several years ago, and he's going to have operated on again. Hopefully he'll heal up in time to bowl in Las Vegas in August.
The approaches have given him a little trouble this week, and it's kind of aggravated that knee, right?
That's right. It's never really healed properly, even after the surgery.
7 pin. You had some knee trouble in your career, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Nothing that serious. Adam's is a lot more serious than mine was. Mine was just cartilage, and I'd wear a brace and I'd be fine. Adam has a brace on that looks like it'd take you about 20 minutes to get it on. It's got so many straps, and
what do you call it, an octopus or something?
Something like that. How gets it on there, but if he gets hurt and has to get out of here in a hurry, it might take us 20 minutes to get that off him too. So.
Cross lane at the 7 pin. Uh-oh. First mistake by either player. So as we're going to break, Adam Toney has just opened and given the lead to Ron Swift. We'll be back to see how this plays out. The ABC Senior Masters is being brought to you by the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service to America's bowlers since 1895. Make sure your league is ABC sanctioned. By Lynn Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn Shoes, the choice of top players worldwide. By the professionals of Century 21 Real Estate. Whether you're buying or selling your home, you can lean on us. And we just missed a nice light strike by Ron Swift. And we'll take a look on the replay, Earl.
Well, this is good rotation. Ron does all his own ball drilling, so he's very comfortable with the bowling ball coming off his hand. He likes that type of rotation. If he hits light in the pocket, he generally gets good pin action like that.
And the unwritten, or maybe it's a written rule, when you open out on the PBA Tour Senior National, your opponent always doubles, right?
It seems that way, yes. And this is the lane he's had any fouls on this lane. Great shot.
Just knocked that 10 pin out like it was supposed to go.
Yeah. It's an easy game, huh?
Oh, yeah. Adam Toney has to regroup, get himself back together here.
See Adam Toney on the screen was 5-2 in match play. The bowlers, after the qualifying rounds, bowled 3-game matches. And that means Adam won 5 of those 3-game matches and lost 2. And that's why he came through the losers bracket to get into the fourth and fifth position here with Ron Swift.
Well, a strike now, I would think, psychologically is really important to him after missing that 7 pin and his opponent getting the double and taking the 13-pin lead.
Well, I'm sure he doesn't want to leave another 7 pin and have to shoot at it on that lane again right now. Again, the players are feeling a lot of pressure. They're playing for a lot of money, and of course the title, the Senior Masters Championship, very important to all of them. It's a major event for them. little more ball speed on that one.
Oh, bad break. That hit carries a lot of times.
They carry most of the time for these players, especially with these resin reactive bowling balls. The light hit is the key hit.
Cross lane at the 10 pin. Should present no problems to him, right, Earl? Wipes the dressing off the ball. Resets himself. And at the 10 pin. And he says those single pin scores aren't so tough after all. Ron Swift up by 13, trying to take a commanding lead in these next couple of frames if he can keep striking. Boy, nice release and extension on that shot.
I'm impressed.
Here's some of the future sites for the American Bowling Congress Tournament. Salt Lake City in '96, Huntsville, Alabama, Jimmy Certain Country in 1997. Back here to Reno, 98. Plan, I guess, here is come here every third year. Is that right, Earl?
That's what it sounds like to me, and I think it's a great idea. The National Bowling Stadium is the perfect setting for a major event like the American Bowling Congress Championships.
Trying for 4 in a row. Boy, he's making this game look easy. Ron Swift, hotter than the weather outside right now. He's in the front by 33 pins. We'll be right back. There you get a shot of what the National Bowling Stadium looks like, almost from a blimp view, but it's not quite. Gorgeous facility. As I said, it cost over $40 million. There's 28 tons of steel in it, with 363,000 square feet. Adam Toney having no trouble on the right-hand lane. And earlier, I talked to Adam about what it's like to spend 18 years in the state legislature, and this is what he had to say.
It's a great experience and an education that you get nowhere else. You know, you're dealing with 134 different personalities representing different areas, and it's a great education and a great experience.
So I wonder what he was, Democrat, Republican, Independent. That was before.
I think he's from the far left. Look at him down there.
Oh, Farley, you got it. Absolutely. How could I miss that? For the double. All right, back in the match.
A lot of frames left. Anything can happen, and that looks like Mr. Swift is really moving along quite well here. I think Adam's going to need some help from Ron Swift to get back into this match.
Well, right now, I think he's just praying that he stops striking, right?
Anything would stand up, I think, make Adam Toney very happy.
Because Adam's got a good line to the pocket.
He has. Really, the major difference in the match so far is the 7.
Oh,
my.
The old equalizer in the solid 8. Kathy looks on and says, not now.
What a time for that to happen. Right when Adam's starting to strike again. We're going to take another look at that shot. Watch what happens here as the ball goes through. The pins go up and over the top of the 8 pin. Oops, the sweep got in the way. See the pin go right over the top of it? That's amazing. Just very, very bad luck.
They say it's the only true tap in bowling, but I've never believed that. Have you, Earl?
No, I think every time something stands up, it's a tap.
And he has no trouble converting it, but Adam Toney got what he wanted. He got him to stop striking. As we head to the 9th frame, the difference is 22 pins right now. Ron Swift has got him. He's going at a 229 clip. If he sets himself up with a strike here, he can't be shut out.
I'm sure that's on his mind, but right now he's throwing the ball so well. All he has to do is continue to roll it like he is, and Adam Toney has all the pressure on him. Adam needs nothing but strikes.
Pretty free swing there.
Got to hurry.
Oh,
just a little late there, and the solid 10.
8 pin, 10 pin. You know, I saw him miss a couple of these last night. Missed one in practice.
Michael, don't do that to this guy. He is a good spare shooter. The players have had some problems with spares, but mostly on the right-handers, the spares they've had a problem with are on the left side of the lane because the ball tends to hook as they go across lane, hooks very sharply at, say, the 7 pin or the 4-7. The 10 pin has been fairly easy for them.
Flattens it out and measures it perfectly. Well, it's 21 pins. If Adam Toney wants any chance in this match, he's got to strike here in the 9th frame. This has been his best lane right here.
This is it, and he really needs them all to make Ron Swift catch a double in the 10. Ron Swift possible 238, Adam Toney possible 237.
Oh, the 6-pin, almost said the 4-pin. The 6-pin crunches out of there.
Well, you right-handers always think that.
I can't help it. I'm sorry.
We'll take another look at that. Adam Toney's ball is he gets a lot of forward roll, and as the ball enters the pocket area, you can see it almost kind of straightens out. It breaks to the pocket right there and then kind of goes end over end, and that's why he trips that 6-pin. If the ball were to continue to hook, it would be a 6-pin or maybe even a 6-8. The pocket split.
Did you see that ball was almost airborne as it hit the pins?
Oh, what? I didn't notice that. No.
It looked like it almost took a bounce as it hit the pins. 11 pins. He can cut it to 1 with the first one on the 10th. Oh, the 6-pin goes.
I watched Adam in match play last night, Mike, and he was doing that all night long. And the players he was bowling against, they were all looking at him like, how can you do this? You can't do that. And he would do it time after time after time. And here's another look at it. Watch the head pin as it goes over, hits the 3-pin off the wall, comes back, kicks out the 6-10.
Well, now it's down to 1 pin. He can take the lead at the right time of the match, the tail end, with a strike here.
He can make. Can't shut out Ron Swift, but he can make him get 3 strikes in a 10th to win. It's a lot of pressure to put a guy on in his first television show.
For the lead. And he does it perfectly. Points at somebody. Looked like Reg Pearson back here.
Well, I think it's Tommy Tuttle. That's his best friend. He's sitting right next to Reg Pearson. You can't see him back there because he's also sitting right behind Mr. Swift. But Tommy Tuttle's in the front row, and he's not allowed to coach, but he can sure cheerlead. There's Reg Pearson on the left of the screen. And Tommy Tuttle with the glasses on there just to the right of Swift.
Ron chatting with his wife, Kathy, saying, well, need all 3 of them, honey.
This is a very important shot here. Adam Toney needs to strike to make it. Swift get 3 strikes in the 10th, because if he gets a bad count, he would only need 2 strikes.
And the 7-pin finishing with a nice 236 and a tremendous finish. Except for that missed 7-pin, he bowled an outstanding game. Well, we've had
a little power problem. I think there's some lightning outside and might have hit one of the transformers or something, but we're going to get this on, folks.
Lights are coming back here little by little, but kind of shook up everybody here watching. We lost lights at the high end of the building. What a time, though, for the lights to go out. The guy needs 3 strikes in the 10th, and suddenly the thing goes dark for a minute.
Maybe God's sending him a message, Mike. We're going to help you out. Going to get 3 strikes for you right here. Doesn't seem to bother Ron. He looks pretty much into this shot.
Needs that first one. And soft and through the nose, a 3-6-10. A lot of pressure to put under a guy, and then have the trouble with the lights at the same time.
Well, then again, you also see the good sportsmanship there. It comes back and gives Adam Toney a little slap on the hand there, saying nice bowling. It didn't look like it was going to be Adam Toney's match, but
a solid 8 in the 8th frame.
Solid 8 was the turning point, and when Adam missed the 7-pin early on, it looked like that could be a herder. Well, they're not getting any easier either. Adam Toney now takes on one of the premier left-handers of all time, Dave Davis. So.
Well, Adam Toney, winner of our opening match. He'll be taking on Hall of Famer Dave Davis in our next match. Don't go away. The American Bowling Congress is celebrating their 100th anniversary. And to give us a little capsule view of that, we're going to go into a little time capsule. Take a look back at some things with Earl Anthony.
Bowling has taken on many forms, spanning the globe and reaching back centuries. Like many other sports, bowling took on its current form by the end of the 19th century, but something was missing: standardization. During the late 1800s, there were several bowling clubs in the U.S.,
each with its own set of rules. Influential bowling publishers Herman Tietz and Louis Chute led a crusade to form one governing body for the sport. Finally, on September 9, 1895, the American Bowling Congress was formed at Beethoven Hall in New York. In the early years, running the Congress was a one-man job. ABC's first secretary, Sam Karpf, ran the ABC first in New York, then in Dayton, Ohio. In 1907, Abe Langtree took over as secretary. Wearing a greatcoat and large hat, Langtree commanded attention and respect. He ran the American Bowling Congress out of a roll-top desk in his bowling center in Milwaukee. Langtree was secretary for 25 years, becoming ABC's first long-term leader and making Milwaukee ABC's long-term home. ABC headquarters has been located there ever since.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that. I know I did, Mike. And now here's something I know everyone will really enjoy. Even President Clinton likes to get his tips from Mike Durbin. So here's an average builder.
This is the ABC PBA Senior Masters. And because this is a senior event, we thought we'd like to flavor this week's average builder towards seniors. However, it really can be applied to bowlers of all ages. At this event last year, what I talked about is when you reach 50 years of age, if you're a male anyway, you go to a 15-pound ball, something which I have personally done. This year, I'd like to talk about the arm swing, and more specifically, the backswing, and what many of us, whether we're young or old, have a tendency to do. And that is, as we get to the top of the swing, what a lot of us try and do is get more power, and we hoist the swing at this point in time, and we throw off the tempo, we throw off the timing, we throw off our accuracy. Here's what you need to be thinking of at the top of the swing, and that is leave it alone. Let gravity pull that ball into the downswing. It simply looks like this. Free swing to the top, and gravity pulls it right on down. Real simple. Now, to show you just how foolish it is to try and get more power at the top of that swing, I'll try and hold the ball at the top of the backswing. Let's see how long I can hold 15 pounds up there. Not very long. So the key phrase to keep in mind is leave it alone at the top. We'll see you again July 11th from Kennewick, Washington, 9:30 Eastern Time, where we'll have another average builder. Well, you always left it alone, Earl. You had that perfect arm swing. We'll be back with Adam Toney taking on Dave Davis right after these messages. Dave Davis will be leading off our second match. This is Mike Durbin with Earl Anthony. We're at the ABC PBA Senior Masters at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. And in this match, Dave Davis, Hall of Famer, taking on the first game winner, Adam Toney.
Our two left-handers are in the top five going head-to-head here. Dave Davis, we'll get a real good look at his footwork a little bit later, Mike, and it's kind of unique that he's wearing a tennis shoe on his left foot, and I'll explain all that to you right after we see if Adam can get his second game started as well as he finished the first one.
Adam Toney just wired in that first match. Now, the fact that there's another left-hander out here, will that mess up Adam's line some, do you think?
I don't think so. I think they're playing the lanes a little bit differently. Adam throwing hard and straight around that second arrow. Got the crossover there. And that's the kind of thing that'll bother a player. It'll bother your opponent when he's looking at that. And Dave Davis is one of the players that'll sit on the bench and not watch his opponent for that reason. He doesn't want to see. You see Dave looking down at the floor there. He doesn't want to see. All he does is listen for the reaction of the crowd. If they clap, he knows the guy did well. If they don't, then he'll look up and see what he left. He waits for the ball to hit the pins before he watches it.
So he doesn't want what the other guy's doing to affect him mentally.
That's right. Exactly right. Now Dave will look down there, and here goes Adam. In fact, he even took his glasses off. I can't see anything.
That means he's blind at that point. Is that right? Adam Toney trying for a quick double. Well, this game has a way of equalizing and evening out quickly, doesn't it?
And David has yet to look up to see what Adam did. All he did was just keep looking at the floor. He's not even interested. He has yet to look up.
Tell me now, if you were in that position listening, could you tell the difference between a strike and a solid seven?
Well, the crowd didn't make any noise, so he felt if he'd have doubled, there would have been some crowd reaction.
Now he missed the 7-pin on this lane in the first match.
A little more more relaxed, I think, now. And, you know, he's got that first win under his belt, and there's always a little bit of an edge to the player that wins the previous match. Now, David is recovering from an operation from about 19 months ago. He had an operation on his left foot to remove a tumor. Pretty major surgery, and so he's had to wear this tennis shoe ever since because he just doesn't have the strength. And he needs that to push off to get some leverage into his slide. And Dave's always been one of the classic stylists of the game, with one of the best, in my opinion, maybe the best arm swing I've ever seen. He's right in there with Jim Stefanich and people of that stature, or Dave Sutar. Not quite as good as Mike Durbin, maybe, but you can see the left foot there. That's the one that's wiggling up and down. That's the tennis shoe. And it's had to make him change in his approach pattern. Normally, Dave likes to kind of slide his feet as he goes to the foul line. Here, with the tennis shoe on, it won't slide. It creates too much friction.
He's got a heel toe,
He has to pick it up and set it down. He says he feels kind of awkward, but it's better than the pain. And of course, Dave has a lot of pain. He's got bad knees. Both of his knees are aching like a toothache, he said. So it's a lot of problems for Dave. And here's Adam Toney making an adjustment in the thumb hole.
That's in his spare ball, isn't it? Leaves the solid 7-pin on the left lane.
Dave Davis defeated Adam Toney in the match play earlier. He shot 663 for the 3-game match to Adam Toney's 546. Dave started this tournament with 5 consecutive wins before he lost his last 2 matches, dropping from the lead and the possibility of being our #1 player going into the telecast, the 3rd spot.
Again, Earl and I are here in Reno, Nevada, the National Bowling Stadium, bringing to you the championship finals of the American Bowling Congress Senior Masters. This is our 2nd match with Adam Toney taking on Hall of Famer Dave Davis in a basically even match right now in the 3rd frame. Now it's not even anymore. He leaves the 4-6-10.
Really the worst shot Adams made by far. That's the first ball we've seen go high for him. He's tripped a few 6-pins, but I didn't see the reason for that happening. Just Adam made a bad shot, I guess. 4-6-10 here. Adam, I'm sure, will go for the 6-10. Just try to get the 2 pins, not give away the count. This is considered one of the impossible splits in the game of bowling.
How many times did you make it in your career?
I never ever even tried for it, but I did pick it up a couple times by accident more than anything else. And I think what happens, you get a little frustrated and you throw the ball a little harder than normal, and once in a while it'll bounce, one of the pins will bounce out.
Yeah, I think I made it once in my life. As he gets 9 out and open frame, he had an open frame about the 3rd frame of the last game. He missed the 7th pin on the left lane. You know, I noticed last night as I was watching him playing some of the matches that he has a tendency for that swing to kind of bounce out away from his body, and I was thinking that he'd have a lot of trouble sometimes, you know, just not doing that the same way every time with the ball creeping high on him.
Yeah, that's a good observation, Mike. I noticed the same thing. This has been his biggest problem all through his bowling career. I bowled on the tour when Adam was there. Adam's big and strong in the chest, and the tendency is for him to, like you say, bounce the ball out away from his hips because of his chest. The big muscles in his chest and his shoulders don't let him have a relaxed swing. And we're going to try to get a look at that backswing. Here's a great camera angle. Now watch the swing as Adam goes straight to the foul line. You see his footwork is excellent, but the ball comes down and bounces out away there. You can see that ball should be maybe 3 or 4 inches to the right of where it is to be back in line, but he tries to bring it back in at the bottom using just pure muscle strength to bring the ball back in. That's hard to do with a 16-pound ball.
You have to do it the same way every time.
Exactly. Your footwork has to be perfect.
He's kind of learned to live with it and built into his game over the years, and I've noticed he makes some mistakes, but he gets a lot of strikes to offset some of those mistakes.
That physical strength that I mentioned that he has in his upper body is what helps him. He can overpower the lane condition.
Now Dave's just the opposite with that nice free swing, good balance. That was a good follow through there. Pretty shot.
This is the best I've seen Dave roll the ball since I've been here. I've been watching him all day. I watched him yesterday, and I watched him practice warming up. He really looks relaxed and loose and ready to play. His balance is good at the foul line. He's been having problems, I mentioned, with his knees. He's had a lot of problem with his left foot. There's the with the tennis shoe is a problem getting to the foul line consistently the same way. But now he looks relaxed. He's swinging the ball very free, and he's not throwing it nearly as hard as he was all day yesterday. He had tremendous ball speed yesterday. Now he looks like he's stroking the ball.
Two pretty shots right there. See that follow through on that one?
You bet. And you can see his reaction. Dave is ready. And we're going to compare the backswings. Let's take a look at a classic style here. One of the great swings of all time. Watch the arm swing here as it comes in behind the player slightly, which creates leverage and helps you get around the ball with more power and more rotation at the bottom. You can see the ball, how close it comes to his ankle. He goes through the shot and stays down for balance, whereas Adam Toney, because of his problems, especially with his knees, has a problem staying down at the foul line. And plus the fact that he uses so much body strength, instead of swinging the ball freely, he pulls the ball through with his upper body strength, and that pulls him off balance, and sometimes you'll see him fall off to his left, and that's because the weight of the ball, him pulling it down, makes him lose his balance.
Do you think there's any intimidation factor here of him bowling a great bowler like Davis?
I'm sure there is. Adam might not admit it, but in the back of his mind, I'm sure there's something about how good a player he's playing against. And Davis got that early double, and that's just going to add to the pressure. Point now for Adam Toney is not to make any more mistakes. It's halfway through the game, still a lot of frames left. If you remember, in his first match against Ron Swift, he was down by 30+ pins about this point, came back with 7 or 8 strikes in a row to finish the game and win it.
Yeah, he finished with 8 strikes in that game.
So Dave Davis is very well aware of what happened in the first match, and he knows how Adam Toney is capable of throwing strikes, and Dave isn't going to let up the counter.
Boy, it's another solid 7-pin on that left lane. Just not able to get the break to get something going. The game just slips away from him.
It does, especially, again, a talented player like Dave Davis. That's your opponent. And sometimes that will, as you mentioned, affect the way you're playing the game. You feel more obligated to throw a string of strikes at Dave Davis. You just feel like if you give him any opportunity, he's going to run away. And Dave is a great front runner. If he gets in front, he never seems to give it back.
Well, Adam Toney with his second unforced error falls behind by over 30 pins. We'll be right back after this. Because we were running behind our allotted time, we had to bowl through a few frames, and we'll bring you up to speed on them as Davis sticks a little bit. On a strike, leaves the 5 and the 10. While we were away, Davis on his double got a spare, left the 4-7, converted that, came back with a strike. Adam Toney got a couple of marks, didn't make any dent in that lead by Davis, and now Davis with the 5-10. How's he going to make this?
Well, I think right now Dave Davis will make this. He's an excellent spare shooter. This is just moving a little bit off his strike line, a little more ball speed to delay the hook. Well, missed it by a little bit, but that's unusual for Dave. He usually pick up something like that. That cuts that lead down a little bit. It's about 23 pins now. Here's a look at the scoreboard.
Well, you can see there's the score. Adam Toney still has a potential score of 192 if he would take it out. Davis going at a 195 clip right now. So it can still be done.
It can still be done, but I think there, in my opinion anyway, there's a small intimidation factor here in the fact that Dave Davis is a tremendously strong, good player, left-hander. Adam Toney has probably looked up to Dave Davis all through his bowling career and thought, boy, this guy is fantastic, and now I got to bowl against him. So I think that's affecting the way Adam's playing this second game. He played so well in that opening match to defeat Ron Swift.
Davis breaks down the 5-10, leaves only the 10 pin, switches balls, goes cross lane at the 10. Knocks it down. Still seems to be struggling with the approaches a little bit, but he's given a ray of light to someone that was just about a corpse.
Adam Toney can strike it out here in the 9th and 10th. He can really make Dave Davis pay attention in the 10th frame. Dave would need to get a mark and good count. Just can't get that 6-pin out like he was in the opening match. He tripped 3 or 4 6-pins in that first game he bowled, Mike, and now he's left 2 or 3 of them in this game.
Well, it adds to your score when you trip that 6.
Sure does. I never could trip that 6.
No, I know you just powered through and left that 6-8 all the time.
Right. Anyway, Adam Toney bowled a tremendous match, the opening match, finished so strongly, defeat Ron Swift. And what was the prize money anyway, Mike? How much is fifth
Ron
place?
Swift wound up with $7,500. It looks like Adam Toney is going to wind up with $11,000 as the loser of this match. Third place is getting $16,000. Second place winds up with $22,000, and our winner $38,000.
pretty good week's pay. You see Dave Davis working on his shoe, and what he has on the heel there, right there where he's kind of pointing right there, he's talking to someone off the side, and that someone is the greatest bowler of all time, in my opinion, Dick Weber, who's the tournament director right now.
I thought maybe he was pulling a Dennis Rodman.
What he's got on that heel is this little piece of Teflon, which will help him slide and not stick.
Well, Adam finally gets a strike. Only a second of the match. He's disproving the adage that all that begins well and ends well is all right, because he started with a strike and is ending now with a strike, but in between there was a desert there.
Well, a maximum of 181 here. It's still a possibility. If Davis were to get a bad count and miss, we could have anything.
And we've seen it happen.
We've seen it happen. All the players here, we're bowling on synthetic lanes, synthetic approaches, and there's a carpet in the settee area, and that carpet creates static electricity. So when the players get to the foul line, the tendency is for your foot to stick a little bit. And as you see Adam leave another good, solid 7-pin.
Another 7-pin.
There's the carpet down there. You saw it by Dave Davis's feet, and that creates static electricity when you get on the synthetic approach and makes you stick a little bit.
Well, as we finish out the match, Dave Davis is going to be the winner. When we come back from our break, we're going to take a look at our second time capsule. Don't go away.
After World War II, pin boys were still setting up every pin in the more than 4,000 bowling centers across the country. Then in 1946, the ABC New Equipment Committee approved an automatic pin spotting device for sanctioned competition. Bowlers caught their first glimpse of it in a rented garage near the site of the 1946 ABC tournament. But the pin boys kept their jobs for a few more years. The complexity of the original pin spotter sent its manufacturer, the American Machine and Foundry Corporation, back to the drawing board. The machine AMF ultimately put on the market a few years later was one of an entirely different design than the 1946 version. A barrage of technological advances came up for approval in the late 40s. Innovations such as a single beam foul detector, laminated pins, plastic coated pins, and a plastic pin base attachment. After extensive testing, these innovations were approved and put into use across the country, changing the face of bowling forever.
Don't forget to join us for the ABC Centennial Show, September the 8th. It's 7 o'clock. And some of our other top finishers. One of the hottest bowlers on the senior tour finished 6th here. Tommy Evans made 6,100. And a nice left-hander, Fred Strasser, finished 7th.
It's a talented field, Mike. Jack Wallish coming up and finishing here in 8th place. And of course, Dave Sutar. Everybody knows Dave Sutar, Hall of Famer from Florida. Looks good with that beard, doesn't he? Finished 9th.
Looks mature with it. Avery LeBlanc, been very hot on the senior tour. Al Sanford from Jackson, Ohio, another Buckeye.
And of course, Hall of Famer Larry Lobb, who was in the top 5 in the regular ABC Masters Championships here just a couple of months ago.
He likes it here at the National Bowling Stadium. Our next match, we've got 2 veterans, and they've faced each other many times. Dave Davis taking on our second qualifier, Pete Couture. There's the handshake. 2 fierce competitors here. Dave Davis, Pete Couture. Now, one final hand slap. They weren't sure that everything was recorded there. Davis going to have a little more than 190 to win this match.
That's the way I feel also. Pete Couture is, I think he's the man to beat today. If he can get by this match with Davis, he'll give him all he can handle.
Is that a 15-pound ball that Davis showing? It's hitting an awful.
I was asking that yesterday. Last night I asked his good friend Dave Sutar while Dave Davis was in a match, because it looked to me like the ball wasn't finishing very strongly, and he said no, it's a 16. So I guess it is a 16-pounder. First look at Pete Couture. He's a little behind, by the way, from him. Pete hasn't been on television since 1986, so it's been a while. And it's going to take him a couple of frames to get used to those cameras and the lights and the huge crowd we have here at the bowling stadium. And once he gets relaxed, I expect him to be pretty tough. Cross lane at the 610 here with a nice shiny ball so it won't hook.
All right. Pete bowling in just his second senior event. And he has a chance to win the biggest prize money of the whole year.
Well, he was pretty fortunate. You know, I talked to Pete earlier, and he said he feels very lucky. You know, he just turned 50, made him eligible for the senior tour. And while we're talking about that, look at Jack Mordini, who is the group executive and does just about everything you can get done for the ABC.
If you want it done, ask Jack.
That's right. He oversees the tournament operations here at the Congress Championships. And that's a long, hard job.
Leaves the 2-5. Interesting. He's playing the lanes differently than the other right-hander, Ron Swift played.
He's playing them differently than he did during match play yesterday afternoon and evening also. He was a little deeper. He's playing between the 3rd and 4th arrow. Now it looks like he's going more directly up at him around the 2nd arrow. But Pete said that he feels very fortunate to be eligible for this event because it was scheduled earlier in the year, and then because of the National Bowling Stadium, they moved this tournament later in the year and made him possible to bowl in it. So he feels pretty good.
I think he feels pretty good about that spare too, making it on the left. I'm sure was not the way he planned it.
No, I think that spare, you're going to miss it more than you're going to make it, it seems.
Davis wants to get out ahead. He came up here in between games and told both Earl and I that he had a piece of tape on his shoe and he had to get it off. Leaves the 6-pin just airtight. Boy, I remember back, 20 years ago or more when watched Davis bowl for the first time. In fact, he was just a young kid in Oxnard, threw that big sweeping hook at that time. Throws it pretty straight now. I guess that happens as you get older, right?
That's right. I think you're right. To you anyway. I still feel that big sweeping.
Right. Knocks down the 6-pin.
Me and Jerry Hale, we feel those big hits.
Jerry Hale is our statistician tonight. Dave wiping that dressing off the ball.
Don't want to get any of that on your fingers or your thumb, especially the thumb.
Feel of bowling ball, all important.
Definitely. You want to be able to get out of the ball consistently the same way. You watch these players, they're all top players. You'll see them put their fingers in the hole and their thumb in the hole. So you have to get the thumb very cleanly, and they can lift with the fingers like that and get that straight.
Both players using 5 steps here. Couture carrying on a running conversation with somebody. I'm not sure. Skip Hintz is probably who it is. That's who he works for down in Titusville, Florida.
Not a very good average for the TV pair, 193, but that was yesterday. Today's a new day. There he's made a move inside here, back to where he was all day yesterday and last night around that 3rd arrow, and I think he's going to be a little more comfortable there.
Well, at least he thinks he can get the ball in the pocket. I think maybe the reason he might have moved was he thought maybe he could carry better with a little more angle, but he couldn't hit the pocket.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Again, switching balls, cross lane at the 10-pin. Pete bowled on the tour for a number of years. He's won 5 or 6, I believe 5 PBA championships.
That's right, 5 PBA championships. There's Mike Connor, I guess the retiring PBA commissioner.
Oh, is that true? I wasn't aware of that. So he's going to retire.
Again, at the end of the calendar year.
Didn't he just retire a few years ago from Firestone?
He's already been with the PBA 4 years, so I mean, time flies. See if he moves in on this left lane too as Davis looks the other way.
He's moved his feet, so it looks to me like he's in, definitely around 3rd arrow. A lot of ball speed there and kept it on line. That's a great shot.
Much better reaction right there. You can see the ball just grips the lane there. Interesting to see how Handegard plays the lanes when he comes on.
It will be, because John likes to go pretty down and in. He's kind of a what we call a straight shooter. He doesn't like to hook the ball a lot. He likes to keep it in play, and he very seldom misses the pocket.
Davis trying for the first double of the match. Oh, nice little break off the wall there.
Looks like he changed the ball speed. I don't think he moved on the lane or on the approach there to change his angle, but looks like he picked up the ball speed a little bit after leaving the 6-pin on lane 26 last time up, and he's still struggling a little bit with his shoe there. It looks like maybe there might be some residue from the glue that was on that tape that he stepped on and got on the heel of his sliding shoe.
Well, I'm sure he tried to clean that as clean as he could.
Sometimes when you clean it off, that rubber heel, you rough up the heel a little bit, and that makes for a little bit of friction also. It doesn't look like it's bothering his release. Well, the pressure's on. Pete has to answer now. He doesn't want Davis to get out front and get away too far.
He's down 23. He's got to keep him within reach. Too much room, and leaves half a loaf right there.
Well, he just got out of time on that one, Mike.
You know, this was the pair that he bowled John Handegard on, both still in the winner's bracket, and he had 3 opportunities on this right lane as I watched that match take the lead over Handegard and didn't get him any time. Wound up, if he'd have struck the first ball in the 10th, he'd have beat John. He lost 584 to 579, you know, and he never hit that right lane.
Well, this is a tough spare here. There's a lot of ways to miss it. Crossing over, chopped it.
And you talked about how easy it is to miss. Earlier, I talked to Pete about him turning 50 and some of his goals that he had for his first year on the senior tour.
Well, Mike, I've been looking forward to this for 5 years. And actually, 5 years ago, my goal was to win another PBA event before I became a senior. I was unable to do that, so hopefully I'll have to just settle for a senior title. That would be real nice today.
Well, he's going to have to recoup. He's coming from way back as he leaves a tickling 7-pin right there. Davis just cruising along. Right now he's in front by 35 pins, and that's if Pete makes a 7-pin, which should give him no trouble.
This has been the hardest spare for the right-handers, it seems. Anything on the left side of the lane, the ball wants to hook away from it. To go down the middle, it wants to skid. Covered it quite well.
No trouble. Pete Couture trailing in our semifinal match. Dave Davis in the lead. We'll be back to find out how it all comes out right after these messages. Live, Davis is leading by 35 pins while we were away because we're running behind our allotted time. Bringing up to speed on what happened is Davis just threw a double. Before we bring you up to speed, though, we want to remind you that tomorrow night we have Sunday night baseball. We've got the Cardinals been struggling a little bit, taking on the Cubs. 7:56 p.m. Mark Grace, the outstanding player for the Chicago Cubs. Be sure and join us then. You can see that while we were away, Dave Davis got a spare and a strike. So did Pete Couture. Davis in a commanding position as we enter the 9th frame. And suddenly he leaves the goalpost and gives Pete Couture hope.
Not only hope, but you can see Pete looking up at the scoreboard. He's checking it out here at this wonderful facility. They have a very huge scoreboard that everybody can see. You can see these scoreboards from about a half-mile away, Mike. But he's back in the match here. Davis makes the open frame, gets the count down to almost even in the count, and the difference is Davis right now is going at a 2:15 pace. Pete Couture could strike out for 2:14, so we do have a match.
Big shot there. Just marks there in the 9th frame. He's in great shape. Now suddenly,
the only advantage he has is the fact that Couture can shoot 2:14. Davis can throw and get a spare in the 10th and then strike and still win. He doesn't have to strike on his first ball.
Couture playing it very casual right now. Just kind of nonchalant, that wall shot.
Well, I'll tell you, Dave Davis is feeling the heat right now because Pete Couture, I feel, and you and I were talking while we were away, Mike, and it's my opinion that Pete Couture, when he came out to bowl this match, was feeling the pressure of the television lights, the big audience. It's been a long time. It's been 9 years.
And the money.
And the money. There's a lot of prize money available here, and Pete can definitely use that. Of course, any of us could, but Pete especially would like to get that $38,000.
Big shot right here.
This is the one that'll make Dave Davis think.
Wow, he threw it as well as he's thrown any the whole game.
I remember bowling against this guy, and he's always been like that. You give him an opening, and he'll take advantage of it every time. It seems like Pete Couture is that type of player. He's a very gritty player, a gutsy guy in the clutch. And even though he struggled all the way through the first 7 frames, he's showing you what he's made of now.
Kind of reminds you of Corey Pavin on the golf tour there.
Very
Small,
similar.
but really a fierce competitor.
A little Banny Rooster type. You know, they just keep right after you. Don't want to give him an opening. This is the big hit right now. If he got it to here, he has to have this one.
Oh, leaves the soft 10. Good shot.
But what he's done is he's put Dave Davis in the position of needing a mark to win this match. We're going to get another look at it. Here you see just looks like a great shot. Just a little bit late, and he leaves the 10 pin. Dave Davis then in the 10th frame needs 9 pins to win. He picks this up. Calls for 9 pins.
Generally, we think that was an automatic for a pro bowler.
You would think so, but remember he left the 7-10. The big 4 is a possibility. The big 5, a lot of ways to not get 9 and 2 balls.
Well, really, all he wants to do right now is just hit that 1-2 pocket.
He's going to be aggressive. He's going for the pocket. No question about it.
Very little time. Oh, pretty.
That's the way to do it.
Pretty shot right there.
Makes a Hall of
swing.
Fame.
Yeah, free swing, long extension on that follow through.
Always been one of the great stylists of the game. Really, if you wanted to copy a style, this is one of them you might want to try to copy.
Davis now practicing for the championship match. And he doubles right there. We'll be back. Taking a look at another time capsule that Earl Anthony will take us through right after this. And we're back at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada for the championship match. The $230,000 ABC PBA Senior Masters with John Handegard taking on Dave Davis. Earl Anthony is here. I'm Mike Durbin. We're happy to bring this to you. And slides by a little bit for the 2-4-5.
John's playing, he's a very direct player. You won't see him belly the ball or give it a lot of room or try to hook it a lot. John likes to keep the ball very much in play. He's that kind of a player. He's a very good spare shooter. He'll go right up that second arrow or thereabouts and just go end over end with the roll. And he's very, very consistent and accurate. Hardest worker on the senior tour as far as practice, and works very hard on his physical conditioning and his diet and things like that. John doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, drinks only bottled water and things like that. So he's a very dedicated player, and he feels that this is his opportunity. It's like a second career for him because he tried the regular tour and struggled. Now on the senior tour, he's become a dominant player.
I find it interesting too here that we have 2 players that normally used to take 4 steps and both taking 5 right now.
John switched to 5 steps because he was having problems with his timing as well. He feels it's really straightening out. He also made some changes in his thumb hole, so he's not dropping the ball. He was dropping the ball. He changed the pitch in his thumb hole so he can hang on to it a little better.
Davis picking up right where he left off in the semifinal match. Throwing balls in the 1-2 pocket, getting lots of strikes, putting the pressure on his opponent.
Free and easy. The great long swing, good follow through of Dave Davis. Never got away from him. And
oh, you sure couldn't see it by his delivery. At least I couldn't. The follow through looked great. He was on balance.
he reacted at the foul line. We didn't quite have a shot at that. And watch his reaction. No, we can't see it. Here's the ball going down the lane. It's high in the head pin. Got a break really with only a 2-4. Here's a look at that shot now. His reaction, you can see he looks pretty happy right there. His reaction is, wow, how did that ball hook that much? That's a great shot there. The camera guy's got a good one there.
Cross lane at the 2-4. Falls off balance again.
Very disturbed. No problem.
Sometimes I think he does that for theatrics.
I think he does. He's just trying to create some excitement. You know, a number of the guys that have bowled in this tournament, we had 470 plus entries here, cut to the top 64 for match play, and it's a double elimination, as you know, Mike, and it's a 3-game match. Total pins wins the match. You don't carry in any pin fall over. It's strictly win or get eliminated. 2 matches and you're done.
John Handegard gets down so well at the line.
He does, and he uses his leg strength.
That's his family looking on.
Yeah, John's family there. John lived in this area in Reno here for about 7 years, so he feels like he's home when he comes back here. He's very comfortable in this atmosphere.
He likes those gambling communities. He lives in Vegas now.
That's right.
Maybe he just likes Nevada. I don't know.
Very possibly. You know, this is the Senior Masters here was a little bit of a brainchild of, you might say, some of the people at the ABC, including Eddie. It's the takeoff of the ABC Masters Championships. It's gone on for like 45 years.
And
John's brother, Ted, is just a little bit older than John.
Not too happy about that solid 10-pin. Pretty shot, though.
Easy spare for John. Cross lane at the 10-pin. John's probably missed one 10-pin in about the last 15 years. You know, talking again about the huge field we had, over 470 players entered this Senior Masters, and a lot of those guys, the Senior Bowling World Team Challenge, which is really, it's It's a wonderful series conducted by the ABC. You get a look at the Handegard parents, Ted and Dorothy. Huh?
Yeah, I met Ted just a couple hours ago.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I met him before, and then John has introduced me to him. But a brief mention of that World Team Challenge, which is a wonderful series. It's Couture, as a matter of fact, the team won last year. And they're going to have the Grand Championships right here in Reno again. And there's going to be 40 teams here from all over the world. Should be fun to watch.
ABC tournament itself, right, winds up actually today, right, Earl?
Saturday. No, it's Saturday. That's right. Wrong day. I know what I'm thinking about.
And singles leader, familiar face, Matt Serena from Spokane, Washington, 8:26. Not bad. Doubles. Can you pronounce those names? Krupenbacher and Wombo, 14:86.
That was good, Mike. It was very good. Well, we've got a good match going here. Only one pin separating these two great players.
Davis missed the pocket, though, the last two shots. So he's back in it there. Just tender touches that 7-pin. Right now, one pin separating the two great players. Two of the best on the senior tour right now.
And John carefully places his fingers in, then his thumb, sets his feet. Look at the concentration. Doesn't even blink. Head's very steady. Foul line. Good long follow through. Just didn't get quite enough of head pin, Mike.
Perfect balance. So he just makes shot after shot after shot. Boy, tough spare here, though. 2.58.
And John's shaking his head a little bit. He's not quite getting the back end reaction that he expects. He expects the ball to go into a little bit more of a heavy roll and roll up to the pocket. It's not quite doing it for him.
Is that because his speed might vary just a hair, or is that the length?
That's a good question, Mike. I'm not sure which it is. I don't think John's speed is going to vary much. He's pretty consistent with the rotation. There is the first major mistake in this match.
Boy, that ball bounced a long way. I thought he had it covered.
I did too. And there's John's fiancée. She
So,
doesn't look like it bothered her that much. She knows John can come back.
unforced error here by John Handegard. He throws it pretty straight at it.
What would be a forced error? When you trip him or what?
Did you see that ball bounce up again?
I did.
That ball bounced up in the air.
Well, we have synthetic lanes, synthetic index, and if they're just a little bit off alignment, they'll create a line there and the ball will bounce.
John comes right back with a solid strike.
See him catch that ball when it came back?
Boy, he's really talented.
Here's another look at that. Watch this ball. Jumped up in the air, and that's the deflection. That created the deflection why he missed that spare, basically.
Boy, I saw that happen with one other shot somewhere along the line. Davis trying to get it up and doesn't.
Well, all it takes is for those pin decks, which again, they're not. This isn't a solid piece of lane down there. These are built-in sections, and if that gets a little bit out of alignment, it creates like a ski slope effect and actually a ridge, and the ball will leave the lane. And it's not going to. If it's in the air, it's going to bounce off the pins.
Wow.
You need the ball to be gripping the lane.
That really was a bad break for him.
It was. It was good cover, really, it looked like, and then the ball just went dead right.
Difference of 23 pins. Davis has him. Trying for 33. Oh, he smells it, Earl.
He does, and he is ready. He's making great shots. Handegard asking for a re-rack on the right-hand lane.
Don't forget, September the 8th, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It's the AB Centennial Show. We'll be looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I will too. The ABC is supposed to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to that show. "100 years as an organization. It's fantastic.
It's marvelous, you know. Not too many sports that can say they have had one body governments for over 100 years.
Their 93rd championship. 93rd, 23 years ABC championships.
They had, what, over 92,000 bowlers participate in this championship this year?
Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing.
Over 17,000 teams.
It's a lot of people flying on a lot of airplanes and driving a lot of cars and staying in a lot of hotel rooms here in Reno, eating a lot of food.
I think they said run in $190 million to the Reno area. Well, Handegard's tough. He had to have that.
Well, this is long from over. Dave Davis knows it's not over, and so does John Handegard. And of course, his parents, their hearts are beating a little faster now. John got that strike. He's still 23 pins behind at this point, but there are a lot of frames to play. John's been in this position so many times as a senior bowler. He's 10 times he's been the champion in various events around the country. He's bowled on television many, many times. He's not the least bit nervous out there. He's very comfortable in this position.
Away from it. 3-6-10. Boy, Davis right now is just spinning that towel and saying, one more good shot.
That's really what it amounts to, Mike. That's a good observation, because Handegard here, a difficult spare, the 3-6-10. He's going to move cross lane, try to get the ball between the 3 and the 6. But even if he makes the spare, the pin count is important at this time. It's almost gone around the horn in pin count. He's lost seven pins in play. It's like a nice double.
Another mark there, yeah. 26 pins, and Davis with ball in hand can really hammer Handegard almost into submission here.
Well, it's still not over, obviously. We all know that. But Davis is on a roll. He's making great shots. Something bothered him. He stepped back. Again, both these guys bowled a lot on television. They've been here so many times before. They're not going to make a shot until they're ready to make it.
You know, and I think this particular title is extremely important to each one of them.
Oh, it would be important to anybody in this, and that's a senior player, to be able to be called the Senior Masters champion. That's major.
You know, Dave's been suffered with an injury, and I had a chance to talk to him about it earlier, what it was and how he is now.
Well, I feel great right now, Mike. Actually, what happened is I cracked the kneecap. I cracked the lower part of the patella and broke a piece off of it. The patella tendon didn't tear, and the doctor said I was lucky, and I don't know. After a big operation and a lot of work and rehab, it feels great now, buddy.
Looks like it feels great right now.
Well, he does. He's in pain. There's no question. Dave has pain in both of his knees at this point, but a lot of that is the synthetic approaches. And that shot he didn't get to the foul line quite as well. His balance wasn't as good. But Dave's ability to keep the ball in play, even when he's off balance.
His great arm swing still went to target.
Yeah, that's right. He kept the ball going to the target, and even though he kind of quit on the shot, so it wouldn't get high in the head pin, and that's why he left that weak 7.
Let's see if he falls off balance at the 7. He missed it that time. No theatrics there. That's the last thing he wanted to happen.
No question about it. And of course, John Handegard again is thinking, hey, I'm back in the match. Here's another look at it. As you see, he's going cross lane at the 7 pin, and he starts to slide, sticks, lands on both feet, and the ball just gripped the lane right at that point and hooked in front of it. Here's another look at it coming at you as he goes to the foul line. Here's the slide. Looks like he's in pretty good shape there, Mike. And it looks like he slipped a little bit, and maybe the knee gave out on him slightly. Who knows?
Who knows? In any case, it's an open frame, and Handegard must strike these next 2 shots.
I'd like to see him strike just to make this into a pretty good match. Put a little pressure on Dave Davis and see which one of these great professionals can perform in the 10th frame if they really need to. This one looks good.
Biggest shot of the week coming up for Bill right now. He's got a strike to squeeze Davis a little bit tighter. 23 down. If he does strike, it's a 13-pin match going into the 10th frame. Thing is, though, that then John can go out for 223. Davis right now going in a 216 clip, so it will change the psychological complexion of the match entirely if John can double. Big difference in money, 38,000 to 22,000. Will it carry? Yes, great shot.
Well, in match play, you know, the 3-game matches they bowled to get to this point, Dave Davis was defeated 713 to 600 by John Handegard. You get another look at that shot, that strike. And this is what he does best. Under pressure, he keeps the ball in play, gets it into the pocket area, and Dave Davis can do the same thing.
Ooh, trip 6 action. Well, he's struggling with those approaches.
You saw the look on John Handegard's face there. It looked a little bit of disgust, I guess you might say, that he tripped that 6-pin. John watched that ball go down the lane, and I'm sure some of the other people with an angle from directly behind thought it might go a little high.
6 might have company.
A lot of ball speed there. Dave does that. He tends, when he needs the strike, he tends to take the hook out of the ball, throw it hard and straight right up at him, and just overpower the lane. That, as you mentioned, that great arm swing gives him that ability to do that.
We'll see if he does it now. Oh, a solid 70 through the, maybe as good a shot as he's thrown the home. But what's going through his mind? How do I convert it now? He's got to make it.
He's got to make it. He just missed it on the same lane in the 8th frame. He converts it and strikes for 216. There's another look at Dave checking the foul. Here's his reaction on that solid 7. He needed it, wanted it, thought he had it.
He went up and checked the approach out. Big conversion right here. This may be the biggest 7th pin he shot since he made one to win the Tournament of Champions back in 1968.
Yeah, he's got this one. And
Forced it down.
That puts John Handegard, you might say, in driver's seat. He needs 2 strikes to win the tournament.
Well, at least he knows that it's in his hands.
No question. That's all you can ask for. And you can see he's pretty happy. He's pretty content right now. He's just sitting there waiting for Davis to finish out. He's nice and relaxed, having a drink of water and bottled water, as I mentioned.
Count important here, Earl?
Count could be important. A bad count here could make it so Handegard only needs a couple of strikes instead of well, now it doesn't matter. It's over. 216, possible 223 for Handegard.
So the situation is that Handegard needs 2 strikes.
Needs 2 strikes to win. And, we're having a little problem with the weather outside, the lightning, and the lights are going on and off here.
Handegard just kind of glances over and says, who cares? We had a big boom here right then, too.
All right, 2 strikes to win.
The right hit carries. Wow. But we couldn't ask for anything more. Comes down, how many entries? 470 entries. All those games and everything else. As we take a look at this.
Another look at it, Mike, as you mentioned, hit him thin, watch him spin, and that's exactly what Handegard did. That heavy end-over-end roll got the pin action he wanted, and his reaction there puts him in position for a strike here to win the event. And you can see Dave Davis, nothing he can do. There's no defense in this game, and this could be the best senior player in the world right now. He needs a strike to win the Senior Masters.
So 1 shot after all work determines.
Nothing John wants more than to be in the Hall of Fame. And this is the kind of tournaments that'll get you there. Softer.
Davis is the winner. You called it. It was soft from the get-go. Dave Davis is the winner.
He aimed that shot, and when you aim him, you don't get a very good reaction.
Well, big pressure shot. I mean, tough shot. Davis hugs Judy Sutar and his friend Dave Sutar. John Handegard finishing it out. Had his chance. Congratulations to Dave Sutar. Well, Dave Davis is our champion. We'll be back to talk to him right after these messages. Don't you leave us. Senior Masters is being brought to you by the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service to America's bowlers since 1895. Make sure your league is ABC sanctioned. By Lind Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lind Shoes, the choice of top players worldwide. And there he is, the champion of this year's ABC PBA Senior Masters, Dave Davis. Dave, that had to be the biggest 7-pin conversion since you made it to win the Tournament of Champions.
Oh, I forgot, Michael. That's right. I did do that. Yeah, it was. It was. Definitely. Thanks.
And to present you with a gorgeous ring here, we have the president of the American Bowling Congress, Ben Palumbo.
Dave, congratulations on a great tournament. On behalf of ABC, I want to congratulate you on winning this ABC PBA Senior Masters Tournament. And we have a special ring crafted especially by Masters of Design for you.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I'll tell you what, that thing is beautiful. Let me
As
take
a
my
little
ring
bonus,
off.
we're going to give
Here
you
you
an
go.
ABC Centennial sweater, which I hope you wear proudly.
You bet I will. In West Palm Beach, we don't have an opportunity, but we play all around
you
the United
travel
States and the
pretty good.
world, so you can bet I'll carry this with
You
me.
can come to Buffalo someday.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, and to present you with a nice big check, the executive director of this beautiful facility here, Reg Pearson.
Dave, congratulations on being the first Senior Masters winners at the National Bowling Stadium. Here's $38 and just a few more zeros on there to help you out.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Wow, I don't know what to say.
Well, Earl's got a question for you here.
Just very quickly, David, I know this is a major win for you. It's
My
been a
idol.
long time since you've been in this position, but standing back, watching one of the best senior players in the world throw possibly something that's going to beat you, how did it feel?
Frightening. It really did feel frightening. I walked over and I was sitting with my two best friends, Dave and Judy Sutar. Excuse me.
It's all right.
And I said, well, I threw it as good as I could. It's out of my hands now. There's nothing I can do. You know, if the good Lord wants John to win, he'll win. If he wants me to win, I'll win.
All right.
And it was my pick.
And it turned out that he wanted Dave Davis to win. So long for Earl Anthony. This is Mike Durbin. Till next time. Don't forget to join us when the PBA returns to ESPN for the Northwest Classic, July 11th. For Earl Anthony, this is Mike Durbin saying so long.